Hello everyone, welcome to the Planto Media. In today's video, I'm going to take you through the rich history of the Elmina Castle, the slave trade and everything that happened there. Follow me to the end and you are going to enjoy it.
This afternoon, our tour is going to be a walking tour. We'll be going to the female slave dungeon, the room of no return. We'll have a feel of some 2 cells we have down here. Then later go upstairs and have a look at the rest of the place. But before we do all those things, I would like to share with you a brief history about the castle. All right, so first of all, this castle here was built by the Portuguese in 1482, but they arrived here in 1471, purposely to trade and spread Christianity. So they came along with some European goods like guns, gunpowders, iron bars, used clothes, alcohols, and other goods. Yeah, to trade with the gold, ivory, spices, and artifacts from the local people. During that period, there was nothing like currency. So the system of trading was barter trading system. That's they exchange what they brought to the local people. So the purpose of this castle here was to serve as a trade post to protect their trading goods and the traders from possible attacks. So in here, all the rooms we have on the ground floor, they were storerooms or warehouses that the European kept the goods that they had and the ones that they brought in them. And during that period too, the rate at which the local peoples were giving the Portuguese the goods, it gave them the impression that the land was rich in gold. So they named the place Elmina, which means the mines. But the local peoples could not pronounce the name well. So Elmina was corrupted to Elmina. And also Aldea, which means the village, was also corrupted to Edina. So these are the names that are used by the people now. But these names doesn't mean that the local peoples never had a name. The original name of the town then was Anomansa, which means that water that when you drink, it doesn't get finished. But due to the two names, we hardly hear the original name at this moment. Now, in the 1500s, things changed when the slave trading was introduced by the Europeans themselves again. So they moved from the trading of the golds and ivories to humans. So the they converted the storerooms to dungeons and they started enslaving Africans in them. They began with about 1,000 slaves. 600 were males and 400 were females.
Hey,
The males were shared and kept at the courtyard there, and the females were kept at the female slave courtyard. And the Portuguese spent 155 years here.
hey,
In 1637, the Dutch came in and captured the castle from the Portuguese. And they also continued with the slave trading for 235 years. In the 1860s and 1870s, the slave trading had come to an end. Due to that, this castle here was no more profitable to the Dutch. So they sold it to the British in 1872. When the British came in here, they used the place to serve as their sub-administrative center. During the Second World War, they recruited Africans from all over the British West African countries, except Liberia, to fight in Burma and India. And after the World War in 1948, they used the place to serve as a police training center. And they spent 85 years during the colonization period. When Ghana gained its independence in 1957, they handed everything, including this castle here, to Ghana. Ghana is now 68 years, still counting. So in total, this structure here is 543 years old. Any question?
tour guide just gave us a brief history of the castle, and very soon
Please, let's go to the female slave dungeon.
Please, let's go. Let's be quick. So we are going to the female dungeon where they kept the female slaves. So this is basically the female dungeon where they kept the females. So I'll wait for my colleagues to come, and then the tour guide will give us the history of this place as well. So this is the female dungeon where the females were kept. Hopefully our tour guide will give us more history about it. So
Let me answer your question. Okay, so in 82, there was a captain or a leader called Don Diego de Azambuja. He came here with 600 soldiers. The soldiers were masons, carpenters, architects, and the rest. So they did the work. What you has here? Okay. Now we are in the female slave courtyard. So all the rooms you see on the ground floor here, they were dungeons for the 400 female slaves and children. Because families were captured and the children among them were also held captives in here. This thing right here, it is a water reservoir which can contain about 20,000 gallons of rainwater. Let's call it a well. So pipes were laid to the rooftop. The black pipe behind the pole is the original pipe, channeled up there whenever it rains. The water was collected here. This one here will filter the water to this reservoir. They use the water to wash, cook, and do other domestic purpose. When the Dutch came in, they had trust issues. So they thought the water might have been poisoned by the Portuguese. So they abandoned this reservoir here and built their own reservoir to use. Theirs was about 60,000 gallons of rainwater, and we have it at the main courtyard. When the British came in, they tested the water and realized that the water was never poisoned. But they also added extra reservoirs to use, and theirs were built behind the castle. Let's have a look at the dungeons.
So right now we are entering one of the female dungeons. So we are inside one of the female dungeons. Wow, they kept people here.
Alright, so this dungeon here contained about 120 females. Let's have a look at the largest one here.
So the largest. So this is another dungeon. The largest female dungeon. Please let me pass.
In that room, the soldiers kept their ammunition and other explosives. So whenever there was leakage, the toxic fumes came straight here, contaminated the air, and killed a lot of the females in here. So with the 150, not everyone made it after the month they spent in the dungeons. During that period too, the Europeans referred to the coastal areas of West Africa as the white man's grave because malaria and yellow fever were killing them a lot. They found the place to be a punishment for them. So the men risked their life to be here without their families. So anytime the governors, the soldiers, and the merchants want to satisfy their sexual desires, they selected from the females to be sexually abused. Let's step out, let me show you something. During that period, the governor stood up here. That was his balcony. He stood there and ordered the soldiers to bring out all the females in the dungeons for him to make his preferred choice. So the selected one, because she spent the weeks there without taking her bath, the soldiers fetched water from the reservoir. She was naked and also humiliated. They washed her up, gave her something to wear, and the food to eat to gain some strength. After they escorted her using this private access here with the staircase to go to the governor's bedroom to be raped. While the ships would arrive for them to go to their new destinations, they were examined because a lot of them got pregnant out of what they did with them. And those that they found out, houses were built for them in town to be taken care of. 3 years after the delivery, they brought the children here to be educated. So formal education in Ghana here started in this castle, with the children that were referred to as the mixed race children or the mulattoes. And they were given European names that are very common. And they were given European names that are very common in Ghana here. And the women that gave birth to the children, they were free to go back to their various homes, but they lost their way back home. So they were used as domestic servants to the castle, and some too were mistresses for the governors and the senior officers. Some resisted the rape. They fought with the governor up there. Some were difficult in the dungeons, but they were all severely punished by the soldiers. Let's go, let me show you what they did to them.